Hello, it's me. It's Grax Bishop. Welcome to today's stream. My name's Grax Bishop, and I'm going to stare sternly into your soul with my raised eye. It's only me. Actually, that's pretty blurred. Hello, how's it going? Check out my new awesome wear. My name's Grax. Welcome to my stream, and today it is another episode of What's Going On, Grax? With me, your host, Grax Bishop. How are you all doing over there? And I can see people are in the chat right now. Hello there, PDT. Push popping my head during the ad break for the leaders debate. Congratulations to your independent parenthood. What are your politics, please? All right, clear this up. I'm not being a parent of any kind just because of that little interesting tweet about childhood. But anyway, let's not worry about that right now because I'm back. I'm back after a long break of about a month. And the audio is out of sync, is it? Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. How much out of sync is the audio? Let me just check on here again because I'm hoping that I just got a new setup right now and it doesn't seem to be working. Well, I thought it was working. Again, it did a little test. I just got a new setup right now. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That's fine. Anyway, well, that's enough about these gloves. The downside of these gloves is that it makes it a little bit hard to push buttons. So, yeah, this is a stream where I do a monthly vlog to tell everybody what's been going on in my life. And one of the things I also do is do a question and answer session at the end. So I guess one of the questions to ask really is, what's been going on, Grax? And the big thing is, I went to China. I went to China for 3 weeks with my girlfriend. And it was cutting straight to the main meat of it, cutting to the main opinions of it. I really like China. I like China a lot, and I'm not just saying that. I'm not saying that because I'm being monitored by them. And this is genuinely coming from my heart. I think it's a really good country, and these are some of the things why I think it's a good country. Is that a real panda head? No, it's not a real panda head. As you can tell, it's just a little bit of a fluffiness. Hi, Tom Mayhew, by the way. How you doing? Welcome. Thank you for joining me on my stream. Also, Over and Over 88. I didn't forget about you. Thanks for joining me in the stream. How you doing? And yeah. So why do I actually like China? I mean, well, I'm rushing a little bit and getting a little bit jumbled up. So why don't I just start from the very beginning? What actually did I do? What did we do? Well, the thing is, it was very much a touristy kind of holiday. The first week we were up in Beijing, and Viv's friends were actually very kind enough to show us a few of the tourist attractions. And one of the things we saw was, well, we saw a few of the big things. For example, we walked across some of the Great Wall of China, which is pretty cool. It's pretty nice, but it's so busy. And the thing is, like, we were towards the end. We were towards the end of the wall itself, and there were still lots and lots of people walking up and down. And it was just kind of interesting to see how many people there were. Beautiful, beautiful sunny day. We also went to see some of the stuff in the Forbidden City, which is pretty interesting in itself. We also got to see the Summer Palace, where if you see me on my social medias, you might have see me posting a picture of myself in emperor attire, all gold, all yellow, all looking very, 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 very official. Me and my girlfriend looking very official. You know, it's just a little bit of fun, and who knows? It could be my future. Who can say, really? And yeah, one of the things we also went to see was Beijing Zoo, and that was Beijing Zoo is not actually as big as I thought it was going to be. There were other animals there, obviously. There were things like gibbons, and there was things like rhinos and elephants. But really, the main attraction were the pandas. I got to see real life pandas in the flesh, which is I mean, they were alright, but if you've ever seen any videos online of pandas in captivity in zoos and such, that's pretty much what they were like in real life. They just sat around either sleeping or chewing or something, or waiting for the staff to bring them something to eat, and they just don't really do very much. And strangely enough, there wasn't that many people actually doing very much in any of the animals. It was a little bit sad seeing an elephant, only because of the cage they were in. They were actually really, really small cage. Certainly much, much smaller for an animal of that great size. You need like buildings worth of space, but they only had like small space. So that was a little bit sad. But it was all about the pandas, really, and China knows it. And it was kind of interesting because I was with myself and Viv and a few of her friends, and we were doing a bit of an exchange of language, like saying it was an education for both of us. They told me what animals were in Chinese, and I told them what animals were in English. So that was kind of cool. But those are the main things we did in Beijing. And we were always able to look around and see what the big city is like. And let me tell you something. If you've never been to Beijing, I think this is a very good description of the city. It's a bit like London, but if London had lots more space. If London had like the room to actually breathe and actually be able to support all the many millions of people that it holds, hundreds of thousands of people, then that's pretty much Beijing. That, and the majority of the citizens, if not nearly all of them, were Chinese. And it's a great city. I like it. But it reminds me too much of London to make it really stand out per se. Except for all the tourist attractions like Forbidden City, the Summer Palace, Beijing Zoo. They obviously have the Chinese aesthetic, the Chinese buildings, the Chinese look. But everything else is like just big concrete cities with big, huge skyscrapers, which I personally like. I personally like that kind of style of building work. After the first week of Beijing, we spent the remaining 2 weeks of the holiday in Viv's home city of Taiwan. And that's a much better looking city because like not only is it big, and it's also got lots of tall buildings and skyscrapers and all that kind of stuff, but there's lights everywhere. All the buildings at night, well, virtually all the buildings, all the skyscrapers, they light up and they got a really nice glow to them. And it's like, it looks a bit like Las Vegas. It's like a Chinese Las Vegas. And I actually said that to them. I was thinking, this is really cool. I like this more. And in fact, I like Taiwan more than I like Beijing. And Viv's family took that to be a nice thing. They thought it was quite a nice compliment. And in that place, there wasn't that many sightseeing things to see. There's no big tourist attractions. But we did manage to go around, see some of the local shopping malls, which I'll touch on some of the stuff there later. We got to see some of the parks. And we did take a little tourist trip out of the city to the Yellow River, which is like on the border of where she lives and Inner Mongolia. And that's just beautiful, wonderful place to go. Nice scenery and all that kind of stuff. If you like being outdoors, if you like fishing, then that's the place to go. And it was amazing because every single day was sunny. I don't know what the weather was like in the UK for most of October. I imagine it was quite cold and grey and rainy. But for the 3 weeks, it was sun. Sun every single day, almost every single day. Like one day where it kind of rained and it kind of spattered a little bit. And it was truly beautiful. It was beautiful to look up at the smog-filled sky and to see little possible hints of blue sky. So, yeah, well done, China. Well, the thing is, one talks about the pollution over there and how people have to wear gas masks to, filter out the pollution and such. But, once you get used to it, it's fine. It's fine. And they kind of are trying to make some changes to increase the quality of the air. The big one being, the big thing that they're trying to sort out is transportation, vehicles. And this is one of the things I like most about China. Yes, it's a place of bikes and everything, but they've got so many electric vehicles. They've got electric bikes, they've got electric scooters, they've even got like 100% electric mopeds, which to me makes absolute sense. It just makes sense. gas masks were what the people in the world would wear, in the war would wear. The gas masks, they weren't gas masks, they were just like surgery masks, which helps to try and filter out some of the bad air. Or a better way to describe it, Tom, would be if you're doing some DIY and you need to chop some wood, or you're doing some spray painting, you just have a little simple mask to filter out the bad particles. That's what I meant by that. But yeah, electric scooters, electric mopeds, it's the most obvious thing in the world. And so they're just like silently whizzing along all over the traffic. And it's just like, of course, why don't we have that in the UK? And they've also got taxis, which are like 100% electric cars. And they're not Teslas. They're like, what was the brand? BYD, I think. That was the brand of them. But yeah, perfectly functional, 100% electric cars, just like whizzing all around as taxis, all around the streets of it. I know they're in Taiwan. I think they were in Beijing. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, that was really cool. That's one of the things I really liked. And I actually was wondering, I wonder if you could actually do a business move where if you can buy these vehicles from China and then put them into the UK. I have no idea how that'll work. And if you can somehow get, yes, BYD, thank you. If you can get over the rules which are set in the UK, which is that you can't have electric vehicles, well, you can't have electric scooters, and electric hoverboards, because I think, there's the reason why they're banned in the UK is because of their fire hazard. Oh, I'm just going to focus a little bit. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you can see my nice grey stubbly beard and my nice sharp panda head. Where was I? Yeah, the reason why I'm guessing they don't have it in the UK is because, well, they explode, or allegedly. They seem fine over there. But, yeah, I think that would be amazing if they were here, and I think that would be a good business move if someone was to bring them over to the UK. But enough about that. Just going through my list of things. I was just like writing down all these different things to try and talk about and to try and remember everything. One of the things that was really interesting was I knew that China was huge. I knew that China was a huge country, but I had no idea how big it really is. Like in Beijing, it was very, very common to have to travel around by car. You have to, because it's so big, if you want to get anywhere decent. Like in our case, we were traveling around for like 20, 30, even up to an hour just to get from the hotel to one of the tourist attractions. And that was like a big eye-opener. But there's also lots of big things. There's like big parks in the city, which are... I think the best way to describe it is that they're just more spacious and more vibrant and more green. But the big thing from that is that there are people just like doing outdoor activities. We went to a couple of parks and we were seeing individuals like playing instruments, like ranging from the traditional Chinese guitars to even a harmonica. They're just like playing along, like not a care in the world. And there was another person two people who were flying kites, just like in the middle of the day, like really, really old elderly gentlemen who have clearly retired and they wanted more in their life. And there was also these individuals who like got these giant, big paintbrushes, which... Best way to describing it is if you can imagine like a little a paintbrush pen, but the size of me, and they were dipping it in water and writing on the street some like traditional Chinese words, which is kind of interesting. But the other thing is like there are groups of people. There are just groups of people just hanging out and doing outdoor activities, ranging from dancing to even some light, gentle exercises. And I initially thought I would see some people just doing a bit of Tai Chi because, narrow-minded, don't really know what the world is like. But they're doing simple exercises. People of a ranging of ages, including like the older generation, doing gentle exercises like this. Just clapping along. And if they needed to change position, they just go higher. And if they needed to reach down, they would just go lower. And then they would just come up to here and just do this. And I've never seen this kind of exercise before. I don't know how effective it is, but I tell you what, it's pretty infectious. I was finding myself wanting to join in, just like clapping along. Pensioners for life. But yeah, it was weird because to me it was all these people who are, all these pensioners or people who are retired and they need activity to do, something to do. And rather than going to like a community hall or like a sports hall or something, or being indoors to do these activities like dancing and learning and such, they do it outside. And why not? The weather was great. So I did like that, but it's all like, sorry, I'll stop. Going back to technology, like one thing you notice immediately is everything's being paid through WeChat, which is, for those who don't know, WeChat is the Chinese app, which is a combination, excuse me. Sorry, I can't trust. Hello, my friend Andrew, how are you? I don't know if there's an Andrew in the chat right now, but my name's Grax. Nice to meet you. I don't think I've met you before. Cantress TX2. Welcome. Thank you for joining my stream. Where is I? Yes, WeChat. It's like a combination of WhatsApp and Facebook and payment methods. And everybody uses this WhatsApp app for paying everything. And it's all through QR codes. And I thought that was brilliant and a really quick way of doing stuff. Because you would just go up to cashier and say, I'd like to buy this, or I'd like to pay for my taxi. You enter the amount, they scan your, they have like a QR code, you scan it on your phone and confirm everything. Bish bash wash, job's really good. It feels much, much quicker than contactless. It feels much quicker than contactless. And the thing is, there's no limit. For example, in the UK with contactless credit cards and whatnot, we have a limit of £30, which is about $35, $40 US dollars. Over there is no limit. You can pay as much or as little as you want through the app, and it's so quick. Hardly anyone really carries cash. Even homeless people just like sitting around with like a QR code saying, please give me money. And I really like that. I just wish I could get it to work on my phone, and I can't. And the only reason why you can't, one cannot, is because it is only available to Chinese citizens. You have to prove that you are a Chinese citizen before they give you all the details. So they need workarounds. I think there are some workarounds for foreigners, but I haven't figured that out yet. And no, it's not a helmet. It is a panda hat. It's just a Xiong Mao hat, like so. Ni hao. What sound does a panda make? I don't know. So yeah, another thing, technology is technology is pretty good. It's pretty advanced. It's like things work, and things are about 30% cheaper than they are in the UK, and which is kind of handy actually, because I managed to pick up a new phone. I managed to pick up a OnePlus 7 Pro over there, unlocked and everything, brand new, and I picked it up for 430 quid. Which the equivalent of 430 quid in their local currency. And the thing is, in the UK, this would cost £700, maybe even £800. And that was really nice. So I saved up for that. I also bought myself a new laptop. I bought myself a Xiaomi Pro 15.6 inch laptop with 16 gigs of RAM and blah, 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 etc., etc. But basically I've got almost the exact same specs, slightly better than my old laptop, which I've had for best part of 6-7 years. But it's thinner and lighter. And the thing is, that's what I'm currently using right now to stream this stream right now. And I'm glad you can't take me seriously, because this isn't a serious channel. It's a fun channel. And I'm happy to put it through its paces. So it's just nice to have a light laptop and listen to that. That's right. You can't hear a fucking thing. You don't hear a noisy wind turbine of a laptop because it's new and it's quiet and it's so nice. And it helps because I don't have to do any post-editing in terms of removing the hiss and the fan noise. It's wonderful as silence. But But enough about that. Well, the debate was a big load of bollocks as I was expecting. Have I missed anything? PDT says. Not so much, no. Even if you did, I'm just telling about all of these wonderful things that are happening in China. But you can catch up with me later on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Grax Bishop. Later on, in fact, you can. No, that's not side. You can see all these social media links up here for all those who don't know who I am. Yeah, everything was cheaper. Even getting a taxi from one place to another was really cheap. A trip, like in the UK, let's say a 20-minute trip in the UK would easily cost like 15, 20 quid. Over there, it was like £4 tops. I was like, wow, that's so nice. And the thing is, like, the currency, as far as I know, in the UK, Great British Pounds, it's 10-1 to their Chinese RMB. So I could afford things, quite a lot of things. Not that I did actually spend anything because I didn't have WeChat, and Viv and her family was so kind and generous to pay for virtually everything, which was very nice of them, and I thank you very much for that. Too many people though. There's lots of people that go that. Yep, there are lots and lots of people. But the thing is that there may be lots and lots of people there, but there's so much space. So obviously it doesn't feel that big and spacious. Just imagine if they were in the UK where it's all cramped and tiny. It's like, ugh. So yeah, because of the currency, I wonder if I actually got a taste of the well-off life. You know what I mean? Like, I was able to live quite comfortably and quite nice, and so I got to see a part of the life which is quite comfortable and wealthy. But I'm under the impression that it's actually very, very hard to make a living over in China, and I didn't see the poor side of things. But so I don't know. So that maybe that might skew my opinion a little bit in saying things like, well, I like China a lot. Okay, PDT asked an interesting question. Did everyone stare at the bald white man? No. Strangely enough, well, in Beijing, no. Nobody really stared at me. Well, that's not strictly true. All the children did. Yes. There was like groups of children like in school runs and everything, and they all stared at me. That's what some did. Other children were pointing at me going, Ingleran! And that means Englishman in Mandarin. It's like, Ingleran! And it's like, okay, that's quite amusing. And even some of them were actually brave enough to come up to me. A few Chinese children were brave enough to come up to me and say, hello. And I would just politely say hello back. And I didn't mind the attention. It was quite nice. I was quite happy to talk to little children. That sounded less creepy in my head. So they probably recognise me. Yeah, that'd be quite nice if they were all my YouTube subscribers. Oh, actually, that reminds me. I was warned by a friend of a friend that for being a white man, if you went over there, you will get lots of looks and everything, etc. And people want to go up and touch you because of your hairy arm. That only happened to me twice. The first time I know it was just a random person come up to me and touching me, but the second one was a bit weirder. And the second time it was because of Viv's uncle. So as I mentioned before, a lot of us went to the Yellow River, which included a lot of Viv's family, uncles and aunties and whatnot. And we were chatting away about something, and the guy approached me and wanted to touch my arm, and then he just went. I kid you not, he was just stroking my arm like this. I mean, it wasn't for very long. It was no more than, say, 10, 15 seconds. But 10, 15 seconds. Just stroking my arm like that just because he just wanted to check. I mean, he compared himself as well, just showing me his arm and how hairless it is. Well, it wasn't hairless. Viv's uncle did have some hairs, but it's like nowhere near as much as this. So that was an interesting experience. And the one other instance was myself, Viv, and our friends were in Summer Palace, and we were just minding our own business. And I noticed that there was one Asian couple, one Chinese couple, walking along, and The guy looked at me, I looked at the guy, our eyes locked for like a brief second, like a split second. And then he just walked up to me. He just walked up to me. No, actually, first he gave his phone to his partner. And she just held onto the phone. And he just walked up to me, just like confidently walked up to me. Did like a hand gesture to signify, can we take a picture, please? Silently did a hand gesture. And I nodded to say yes. And so we just took a picture. And then he shook my hand. No, I shook his hand just to politely say thank you. Not a single word transpired between the two of us, but it was a very nice moment. It was like a nice moment of respect and friendship. And, well, it was just very friendly. And he just walked off. That's quite cool. Let's see. Please do not do the accent again. You're not PewDiePie. Okay. My brother-in-law's dad lives in China. Did you meet him? I don't know. I don't know who your dad-in-law is. Your brother-in-law's dad, sorry. Does he live in Beijing or does he live in Taiwan? Those are the only two places we saw. But maybe the next time we go to China, I'll keep an eye out for him, okay? You might have to send me a picture of what he looks like. So yeah, that was the only time. But other than that, I didn't feel out of place. It's really strange. I was quite comfortable walking around and I didn't feel weird. I didn't feel like I was being stared at. I was thinking if I could speak the language, I could quite comfortably live here. And yeah, it's a really nice place, China. And did they make you stay in separate rooms? Interesting question, PDT. Did you do sex in Tins and Viv's family home, or did you make you stay in separate rooms? I don't have photos. We were allowed to sleep together, but we didn't have sex. So, Viv's family were very respectful. We didn't have sex in your home, but thank you very much. There is no but. Thank you for letting us stay at your home. It's very, very nice. You were very, very kind. And we didn't defile your home in any way. I hope we didn't defile... Well, we didn't defile it in that sense. I suppose I wouldn't be talking about China if we didn't talk about the food. The food is really nice, but I didn't like everything. I was under the impression that I'd actually love every single thing about every single food dish I try there because, you know... The simple idea is apparently everybody in the world can do food except the UK and it's all tasty and blah, blah, blah. But the thing is like, it was like, I didn't like everything, but because there's so much variety of food, whether it be hot pots or roast or like simple noodle stuff, street food, you're bound to find something you liked and you're bound to find something you loved. And I did. I actually did find some things I absolutely loved, which wasn't the spicy stuff. Not strange enough. It wasn't the spicy stuff, but it was the flavoursome stuff. And one of the things I love the most is steamed crabs. I've never had fresh steamed crabs. When I mean fresh, I mean they're delivered to the home and they're still alive. And then you do the thing of tying them up and stick them in the steam oven for them to be steamed alive. And that sounds quite gruesome, but my lord, they taste delicious. Absolutely delicious. The thing is, it's absolutely delicious. But one of the things which I was not prepared for in terms of Chinese food, there's so much food. I had no idea how much food there was. I mean, it's like, okay, it's mealtime, it's family mealtime. We sit down and there's like 5-6 of us. And it's like, okay, so we're going to have 4 plates of food, 6 to 10 full plates of food of different kinds of things. And you just pick up the stuff you want to eat. And it's like, oh, okay. So you start to it and you start to enjoy it, but then you realize you're eating too much food and it's like starting to get uncomfortable. And like, okay, I'm going to finish this bowl of delicious meat and veg and other things. And I don't think I can fit another. Wait a minute. Is that another full bowl of food? Is that another full bowl of food? It's like, I can't do this. It's so full. And it's like, it's truly delicious stuff, but I can't eat all this, and I was getting really, really full, and I didn't know how to say no. I didn't know how to respectfully say no, and this is one of the things I had picked up later on. I towards the end of the 3-week holiday, I learned how to say, no, I'm full, thank you very much. Is it China where it's rude to let a guest have an empty plate? I don't know, actually. I thought it was, but then I'm not quite sure, because there were times where I didn't eat everything, and I tried to eat everything, but they didn't seem too offended by me. Again, I am an Englishman, so I don't know. I gotta check with Viv and a few other Chinese people who that's the case. Yeah, but it was absolutely delicious, and the trouble is, I just need to learn how to say, this is all I can eat. And it really made me realize I may be a fat guy, but I don't eat that much. And that was quite a big shock to me. So I don't understand why I'm so fat, and yet I eat relatively little. But that's a different story entirely. And I guess the other thing which was really horrible was toilets. China is full of squat toilets. Virtually every toilet place I went to, whether it be the shopping malls or the Great Wall of China or a restaurant anywhere, squat toilets. Why didn't anyone tell me about these squat toilets? I was completely unprepared. It's like squat toilets, and not very frequently, there are no alternatives. And I will admit, I genuinely tried twice to take a dump in a squat toilet. First time, I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. And the second time, I tried. I was squatting as low as I could, which wasn't very comfortable, and I'd have to pull up my trousers a little bit because I was afraid I was pissing on it, and I tried to do a little wee, and I missed the bowl a little bit. I peed on some random bug that was walking by, and I can only muster a nugget out of my backside before I just said, I just can't do this. And I left. It's like, I can't do this. So my day-to-day routine was usually taking a dump in the morning, like first thing, before leaving for the day, and then holding it in, which, granted, I didn't need to actually hold in very much on a day-to-day basis, but the routine was take a dump in the morning, and then go out, then come back to home base and take a dump there, because that way, at least there was a toilet seat. There was a toilet seat in the hotel in Beijing, there were toilet seats in Viv's parents' home. And yeah, I did learn a little tip. I did figure out a little tip, which I would like to share with you for anyone who wants to go to China or other places which you do squats toilets, which includes Japan, I think. I found that the disabled toilets often have toilet seats. So if you nip into a disabled toilet, you just go and do the business and nobody really complains. But even then, this was not a guaranteed thing, because there are some disabled toilets where there's a handle for a person who's disabled to grab onto to lower and to raise themselves. And I'm not talking about like an emergency handle. I mean like a bar. And it's like, so even then, that's no guarantee. It was an absolute shock. And I don't know what to do. I can't do this forever. I can't live my life without using a squat toilet, because I'm planning to go back to China. And there's going to be a point where I'm going to get caught out and I'm thinking, I need to take a dump in a squat toilet. So I need to train. I need to prepare. Anybody in the chat right now, anybody, whether it be live streaming or in the future on YouTube, are there any tips for you can give to me how to take a dump in a squat toilet? Any tips would be greatly appreciated. Thanks. Let's see. Were you very aware of the stuff happening in Hong Kong with you there? No, I wasn't aware of the stuff in Hong Kong when I was there. I didn't watch much news, to be honest. I did watch some TV over there, and the news articles seemed to be very much focused in China, but not. I didn't see any protest information on Hong Kong. Although Viv's dad did find out about Brexit, he found out about how the Brexit was going to be delayed from October 31st to the end of January. He found out before I did. And he also found out about the general elections before I did. But he's very interested in that kind of stuff. So yeah, I guess and I guess an obvious question to ask is, What was the language barrier like? Was I able to survive in China without being able to speak much Mandarin? And the answer is yes. Yes, I was able to muddle along without knowing many Mandarin words. And like before I arrived there, I was able to say things like "thank you, I'm hungry," and so on and so forth. And the fact that you're in an environment where everybody is talking Mandarin nearly all the time, and it's just continuous. And the thing is, Viv and her family, they're talkers. They talk a lot. So eventually you were able to pick up a few more things. Like I was able to say, I'm hot, I'm cold, this is delicious, what's this, what's that. So my vocabulary did kind of grow a little bit. They did grow a little bit, but it still wasn't enough. And full credit to Viv. She did everything she could to make sure that I was feeling nice and comfortable and able to keep up with the conversation as much as she could. And I think her dad was actually very good in the sense of he can't speak a word of English, but he bought a device which translated Chinese to English. So you would speak into it in your language and it would translate and audibly come out with another language. So that was very kind of him. That was good to try and break the ice and to try and reduce the silence. It wasn't perfect, mind, because sometimes it doesn't pick up the accent very well on either side. And sometimes it doesn't translate properly. So it wasn't really possible to have like deep conversations. But if you wanted to keep it kind of simple and clear, that it worked. But the thing is, like, despite all this, it was kind of hard because I was very silent. I didn't talk very much, and that's like a side of me I don't like. I don't like it when I can't really express myself, and I'm more quiet. I don't say very much. I'm a bit distant, and the things like I'm a bit saying I'm unattractive because of this is not quite the right thing, but it's like, you know, when someone's just quiet and they don't say very much, you don't really interact with them very much. And when they can't, it's like, oh, okay, we just kind of leave you over there. And I was kind of worried I wasn't being very sociable or friendly, and I was trying my hardest to get involved, and like, but yeah, it was kind of isolating at times, and it's not very nice. Because I like to talk to people. I genuinely like to talk to people. And the thing is, like, this is not me complaining in a way. This is not me saying I'll never go back. I mean, on the contrary, I do want to go back. And I actually want to take it seriously. I want to take learning Mandarin seriously. And I'm going to have lessons. I tried teaching myself online with an online course you bought on the cheap. But I know me. I know me, and I know that I need a teacher to tell me things. I'm not one of these people who can figure things out. I want to be told how to do something, and I'll do it. So, sorry, I just saw what Pete said. Viv, your boyfriend's very quiet. Is he brain damaged? So, no, he just can't talk. Oh, that's funny. I_like_Grax. Hello, sorry, I just missed you there. I love you too. I_like_Grax. He was translating for a brief and he was silent, but man, I've been translating both languages and had my chat with my family's busy life. Pokemon Battle, interesting. I sure to get the latest Pokemon, but I need to get a Switch, which I haven't got yet. Where was I before I was interrupting myself? Oh yeah, that was it. So yes, I'm going to have Mandarin lessons, and I was going to pay for a private tuition or even to pay, like, to go to university to learn it, but Viv's like, no, I'm going to teach you it. Why do you need to spend all this money? Why didn't you give me the money? And I was like, okay, well, I'll have lessons with you, and we're just starting it right now. Like, yesterday's lesson was all about pronouncing CHSHCISI. So it's like chu zi shi si, and it's really hard. So first step of many, many steps will mean I'll be able to at least, I'm hoping by this time next year, I will be able to have simple, broken conversations in Mandarin. I'm not expecting to be able to master the language in a year. That's ridiculous. It's not ridiculous. It's unrealistic. But having simple conversation in a year, that's perfectly achievable. He's mine, every hairy part of him. Right, okay. I was about to say, well, I think Viv would have something to say about that, but she just said you can have the hairy parts. Oh. Oh, I guess that's, if it's okay. Thanks, Viv. So yeah, I guess in summary, the things I did like were, I liked the pandas in the zoo. I like the electric bikes and the electric cars. I like the general city lifestyle. I like skyscrapers and the look. I like that style of city life, except for the smog. The mountainous countryside, because we did actually go outside the city, and it was surprisingly dry and mountainous. It's dry and mountainous where Viv lives, and it was still cool. I like that kind of scenery. I liked how comfortable I felt in China. I liked the visually impaired massages. Oh yeah, that was the other thing. We as a way of trying to unwind and relax, we went to visually impaired massage people. And I'm not being like prejudiced or anything. They actually are blind in some cases and visually impaired in others. And it's kind of interesting because the idea is, I suppose, because they don't have a sense of sight anymore, their other senses are heightened, including the touch, which meant that they will do a much better job of, ironing out all those kinks. There you go. So yeah, I like that, and I do love Viv's family and friends. They were very, very kind to me, and I hope the next time I see them, I will, be able to talk to them back. And that's when they realize that actually he's a bit of a dick. So maybe, well, we'll see. The things I didn't like was, I didn't like not being able to talk to anybody, which I've touched on earlier on, because I'm a talky kind of guy. Actually, I will say that Viv's brother could speak English, broken English, simple sentence English, but we did manage to have some conversation. He talked about how he was interested in history. He talked about general life in China. We were even able to crack some jokes, and I really appreciate the fact that he was able to talk to me in English. I really do. The things I didn't like was not being able to talk to anyone. Oh yeah, I really missed Google. I really missed all my social media stuff because the Great Firewall of China. Hang on, what's it saying? There appears to be a bit of a, activity based upon my love and affection going on in the chat. I'll have to investigate this later. Although I think I like Grax is now gone. Oh, that's a shame. Story of my life. Yeah, I really miss being able to easily connect onto my Google account, so YouTube and Gmail. But Twitter was a pain. I couldn't really get a good connection, which is why I was silent for a while. Facebook was out. Instagram was out. Even WhatsApp was a little bit unreliable. So I was kind of disconnected in that sense. And the thing is, I did buy a VPN connection. I bought ExpressVPN, but that didn't work consistently. It didn't work consistently. There were some times where it just connected like that, but the majority of the time you had to wait for a while. And even then, sometimes it just wouldn't work at all. So I paid for like a month's subscription and it didn't work. So I need to find another VPN service to work in China, or at least maybe find an alternative. I don't know. If anyone can come up with any suggestions for getting connected in China, please do let me know, because, it was... I mean, that's one of the reasons why I wasn't able to take part in Vlogtober. Well, that's one of the excuses I said. Because, oh no, I cannot upload onto the YouTube, so I can't take part. I mean, it was a lame excuse, but I'm using it. Squat toilets, I didn't like those. And the amount of food was quite uncomfortable. But apart from that, I really like China and all these kind of things. And I'm looking forward to going back there again, if I'm allowed to go back there again. So one of the things I've been trying to do is post pictures on my social medias, but it's been a pain in the ass. When did it get so hard? Okay, I want to upload pictures and everything via the website, because I've organized my pictures offline on my computer, and I thought upload it straight like that. But it doesn't seem to work very well. Facebook's a pile of bollocks, and Instagram you can't. So they really want you to use their apps on their mobile devices. But in my case, because I transferred content from my old phone to my new phone, my pictures are a bit unorganized. So it's kind of a lame excuse, but I am in the process of trying to upload pictures onto my social media over some period of time. So bit by bit. I don't want to dump you all with all my pictures at once, because there's like 300 odd photos, and that's too much in one go. So I'll gradually feed it all in. Other than that, there hasn't been anything else going on for the past month, strangely enough. One of the things I'm going to be working on is I'm going to get back onto doing the creepypasta stuff, and I want to do the YouTube time capsule video review before the end of the year. So I've got a month left to write the script. Well, I've practically written the script. It's just tidying up bits and pieces, write the script, and then actually film with an editor. I'm planning to get that out next month, so that the way it coincides with it being 10 years since I first created that time capsule video. And I like his toenails if no hair. I'd lick his toenails if no hair. Ah, okay. Well, I like Grax. I don't have that many hairs on my feet. Craziest thing, right? Okay, I'm a very hairy guy, as you all are very aware, but not many hairs on my toes. Well, actually, I mean, the feet are fine. So if you can imagine that as my foot, right? That's my foot. And these are my toes. So not much hair here. And like huge long hairs here and not so much there. But there's not a lot of hair. So if you wanted to lick my toes, I don't see that being much of a barrier. One of the barriers would be my sweaty feet. So you might want to think about that before you stick your tongue anywhere near my feet. The hair is literally everywhere except his head. He's like a big lump of Velcro or pork scratching. You're not wrong there. It's like a pork scratching that's fallen down the back of the sofa and has collected all the lint. That's how hairy I am. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up my episode 8 of What's Going On, Grax. God, I hope it's episode 8. Otherwise, I've just completely messed things up. Anyway, that's the end of that. And I reckon now's the time to go on to the Q&A section.